Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video I wanted to kind of talk about the Warlords because you know the end of Wano is coming back up and it's probably going to be touched on very soon, and I want to get this video out as soon as possible so I can actually get my thoughts out on it and maybe even predict some stuff that would happen in these fights. Before I get into the video, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Also go into that description and hit that Discord link. Come join the Discord and come chill. It only takes a few seconds and makes a massive difference. But the first one I want to kind of go over is Buggy because I feel like it's going to be the most obvious one and the least significant one in the grand scheme of things. And I think it's pretty obvious that he isn't going to actually be captured. Buggy is his favorite character after all, so I don't think anything will actually happen to him that's really, really bad. I could see him kind of getting captured if there is a little arc where we actually go back to Impel Down. I actually think we could get a little arc where we go back to Impel Down, maybe if Dofi escapes, where we, go back to Dofi and everything. That's really the only way I can actually see him, being captured and put actually in Impel Down. But I honestly think he is just going to get out. He said he was going to actually, try to escape while his comrades fight, and that's just hilarious to me. But honestly, there isn't really much, to really expand upon. There isn't a grand revelation to come to with this fight to me because there's just like only one way I can see this actually going down. The next one is Boa Hancock and what is going to happen with her and Koby. Now there are a few very plausible situations, outcomes I can see with this fight. I think there is a lot of controversy around this topic because both of these characters are just two characters that have been built up a lot, and this is presumably their chance to actually get to showcase some of that. Koby having all these expectations from training with Garp and just him having such a high goal as an admiral, and then Boa, obviously her being one of the only strong female characters in the show that has been kind of treated right. Sengoku giving her props. Someone as strong as Sengoku, if they give you props, you're obviously going to be crazy. She is the strongest person on an island full of hockey users, which is insane, and she has all three types of hockeys, so her expectations for her are limitless. It just hasn't been showcased yet, and this is the time. But I think there are kind of context missing on a little bit of both sides. So for the people that say Koby's going to defeat her 100%, it has to happen because he has been training with Garp and everything. I think here's some context you're missing. First off, Koby is someone who can afford to lose rather than Boa, who cannot afford to lose at this point because she will be put in Impel Down and stay there forever, which is just a tad weird because she has a lot of other relevance besides just sitting in Impel Down. So for the story's sake, to make both parties look good, it does make more sense for Koby to lose, and I think people are kind of overrating this training he had just a tad bit. And although I do think Koby is going to be very strong, I do think the training indeed did help him a lot. Obviously, it's Garp training him, but from the time that Luffy went from Sabaody to the end of the time skip, he'd only gotten as strong as wherever he was then, which I do not think was above Boa. Now you may say, oh, Koby was trained by somebody who was stronger than Rayleigh, and even though I do think they are kind of close, even if you don't, Garp is someone who gave Rayleigh massive respect and even acknowledged that he could not take on two legends at the same time, and you cannot just send people there to go fight him because we will lose countless men. So this isn't someone that Garp considers just levels below him. We don't know of any known clashes between Garp and Whitebeard, but we know that Whitebeard and Roger stalemated multiple times, and that Garp and Roger almost killed each other multiple times as well, and he is directly putting Rayleigh on this pedestal of a legend like him. So I feel like it's fair to compare their training, and well, if Luffy during the time skip wasn't stronger than Boa after the time skip, then I do not think Koby is. But of course I have to talk about the other side because I do think both are plausible. Even though I do not think that Koby is beating Boa, I do think there is some merit to that statement. On the other hand, we don't know how much he has grown because Helmeppo mentioned how his observation hockey is crazy, and he is going down a seemingly similar path as Garp because there was this Rocky Port incident that we don't know a lot of, but was covered up, and he was the hero of it. So there are some parallels, not too much in strength, but it's safe to say that he is going to be insanely strong, and the possibility of Koby actually beating Boa is on the table, even though I do not believe it. But what I actually do think is going to actually happen is Koby goes to fight Boa, and I don't think it is no coincidence that Oda put these two people here that have massive connections to Luffy, that have such a strong relationship and almost look at them in a different light than everybody else compared to who is around them. So I think that is going to come into play. It's possible that they could go to Wano, but I do not think that is going to happen. I think this is going to be the situation that's going to be used to kind of push the Koby and Garp agenda. We all know Boa is a slave, and she can kind of give insight to Koby and tell him that, oh, all this bad stuff is happening, this is what I went through, and this could result in him actually starting to step up into that kind of Garp-ish role, because his incident at the Rocky Port did get covered up. So that is already one parallel, and I think this may start to evolve his character to the next level. And I think from this, he may just kind of leave Boa alone and call whatever ships he is commanding off of Boa, because I can't see him actually, you know, trying to put Boa back in the place where she literally was a slave and was held captive to all these men. I can't imagine Koby being responsible for putting her back in that place. But definitely let me know what you guys think, because this is a particular one I actually want to know about, and just all of your guys' thoughts. But the next one is Mihawk, and he is a particularly tricky one because he is another character who hasn't been completely showcased, and whoever is going to be sent to him is going to be in crazy trouble. That's going to be a long day for them. Fujitora is one that I think could be sent to him, and I think it's kind of like the second most likely to me. And honestly, there is no really real narrative evidence for this. It's just, I think the matchup will be insanely cool, especially in Stampede, where we seen Mihawk cut the, you know, the meteor of Fujitora's. And obviously that movie isn't canon, but it would still be very cool to just to see it. You know, that movie kind of put that imagery in that matchup in my head, and I just want to see it. Another one who I think is the least likely to actually be sent there is Sakazuki himself. Just because, you know, kind of like the Rayleigh situation with Garp, it's just not worth it to even be exposed to that type of danger. It's not even worth the possibility of someone getting hurt, even if it's not, you know, fatal or anything. Just a possibility of, you know, multiple men getting hurt is just not worth it at all, especially with someone as high up in the ranks and high authority as Akainu. Someone said that Garp could go there, which I do not think he is going, because he's already in Fishman Island. But the one I think is most likely is Kizaru. If you look at all of the admirals, he is the one with the actual sword skill that we have seen at like a high level. Obviously, Aokiji used it against, you know, pre-time skip Straw Hats. That's literally nothing, but Kizaru was able to match and even exhaust an old Rayleigh, which, like I said before, you may not think is all that strong, but Garp put respect on his name, so I have to put respect on his name. And Kizaru seemingly being the most objective admiral in his morals, it does seem like the smartest option to go right now is indeed to Mihawk. He wanted to go face Big Mom and Kaido by himself, obviously with, you know, some fleets probably, but he wanted to go there nonetheless. The next step under that and priority is dealing with the world's strongest swordsman, especially now that he is going to be an actual pirate and not just a warlord who can waltz around free at the expense of being under the actual government, being able to fight with the government. If he wins, then he has to be locked up for the rest of his life, and that just leaves Zoro's whole dream to be diminished and crushed. So I do not think under any circumstance that he is going to lose. And Mihawk, in my opinion, is just stronger than Kizaru. But not even with Kizaru and Mihawk as a matchup, a lot of people don't remember that he has Perona and these giant gorillas with, you know, his sword just roaming around the island that will fight them. I think with the combined forces of Perona and these apes and these gorillas, that there is absolutely no problem from the fodder side of the Marines. They just get wiped out. But other than that, there is the last one, which is Weevil, and he is a very interesting case, and that is why I brought him up last. Now, I do not know who they're sending or what is going to result from this, and I do think that he is going to, you know, succeed in the end. He's not going to get captured, but his dynamic with Whitebeard is something that is very, very interesting, and I kind of want to touch on it a little bit, because if he is actually the real son of Whitebeard, this could lead into a lot of conversation conflict with Whitebeard himself and his character, but it could also bring the absolute best out of Whitebeard himself. We know Whitebeard for someone who values family members over literally everything else. So bringing Weevil into an occasion will make us question his character and how his morals actually line up from how he actually acts. Now, there could be a situation where Weevil did something like Blackbeard, in which he broke a rule and where he had to, get kicked off and had to live his own life, which I do not believe at all because of his feelings towards Whitebeard and how he seemingly kind of wants to do things in his name. But I do think he actually just lost Weevil at sea, and that is obviously if this is his actual blood-related son. But we see all of these people on his ship and how they call him Pops. They think of people as their father, their little father, because they don't have any other people in their life like Whitebeard. And they aren't even blood-related to him. And bringing Weevil into this equation just makes Whitebeard's character so much greater because of what we know right now. They don't have very much of a relationship at all. Whitebeard being dead and Weevil just not being there mentioned at any time. He does all of this stuff in Whitebeard's name, and even though they don't have that relationship, he still looks up to him as his father. So whatever route Oda goes down, to me it only enhances his character. Whatever Weevil does do, I think he's just going to body these Marines in front of him, and I think he's actually going to make his way to Wano to try to get Marco, because I believe that was the last thing we know of him, was going looking for Marco. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and go in that description and hit that Discord link. And until next time, peace.